Welcome to Discussions with the Writer Fred, right here at Black Video News in hot San Antonio. And it's not only hot because of the sun, like I mentioned in my last show, it's because we really have one heck of a consummate race going on. We have 8 candidates running for the District 2 seat that is going to be vacated in May when the election takes place. Well, early voting starts before then, but the actual vote is May 4th. As you recall, 2 weeks ago, I had the pleasure of interviewing one of the candidates, Keith Toney. And so today I'm going to interview a second of those 8 candidates, Mr. Walter Perry. Let me just give you a little background on Mr. Perry. Born and raised in San Antonio, Texas, and he is the founder of an organization called Suit Up Program. He's also founder of First Exposure. And these programs are designed to help young black kids, and I imagine minority kids, and even white kids if necessary, that need their assistance in adjusting to the society they're living in. He's also a graduate of St. Philip's College here.
That's right.
He's now a senior over at Texas A&M University, San Antonio, business major, marketing major,
That's right.
and he's a member of the Black Student Union over there. So, Walter, welcome to Discussions with the Writer Fred.
Thank you, Mr. Williams.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. And so let's get right into the program.
Okay.
The councilman that was elected before, I believe did a disservice to the people he represented. He abused them
Yes.
in a way,
Yes.
because before he even served his first term, he stepped out and took another position. And I don't think that's fair to the voters over here. And it's just another abuse. So I want to ask you, how do you feel about what he did? And I also want to follow up and ask you, will you commit that if you're elected to serve out at least one full term?
Well, let me answer that second question first. We are committed to 8 years.
Okay.
So we have an 8-year plan, and I'm going to get to that later.
Okay.
But back to Mr. Shaw. I feel just like you, Mr. Williams, and just like the rest of the community. We were, first of all, shocked, confused, hurt, and then angry because we put our trust into somebody who we felt like was best for our community. We've been having problems, 5 councilmen in the last 5 years that's been taking the trust of the community for granted. And for this man to not finish out his term, at least finish out his term, I would have respected him more if he would have just finished it out and said, you know what, I did one term, I don't think it's for me. I'll go ahead and let somebody else have it.
Absolutely, that would have been fair.
I could have respected him, but the fact that he just quit, it says a lot, and I think it really took value away from the seat.
Okay, all right. Walter, why you? We have 8 candidates running. Why you? Why are you the right person to be in that seat to represent the citizens of District 2 in this city?
That's a great question, Mr. Williams, and I'm glad you asked. We feel that not only our campaign, but our whole message is about the people. It's about transforming your life, transforming your community, and being greater than what you was yesterday. Our community for the last 30 years has been lacking, has been getting promised, overpromised, and getting lied to, getting ran through. People have been coming into our communities, telling our people one thing, but doing something else. And they haven't been reflective of the true essence of the community. And we feel like that our campaign not only reflects the community, we speak the language of the community. We feel like, being that we are from here, we feel like that our community needs to see someone who came from where they came from, which is a lot of us from the bottom, and climb all the way to the top and make it to that greatness. There's a generational curse that needs to be broken, Mr. Williams. Okay. And God has sent me here to break that curse.
Okay, tell us about that generational curse.
The generational curse is the crime, the despair, the drugs, the gangs that plagued our communities during the 80s and the 90s. So many of our black people were hooked on drugs. So many of our young black boys were killed on the streets. Our young black women were young mothers and ended up going to prison. And I ended up going to prison at a young age because I did not have the guidance of a strong black male. I had my grandfather, but it was just too many of us, Mr. Williams. And I needed my father. And it just wasn't enough fathers out here because they were on drugs, selling drugs, pimping our mothers, and just not being responsible out here.
You know, I think the saying goes that the crack dealer has replaced the pimp.
Huh. Well,
Because the sisters that are hooked on that stuff have to go back and get another in order to feed their habit.
well, the tragedy is that we have a lot of good mothers, and
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
we have a lot of great fathers who haven't always had the support that our women in the community have had, and which is a little. Our community hasn't had the representation to give us the basics for our community to thrive. We haven't gotten the basic necessities that we needed, and I feel like now our campaign mixed with our service to the youth and our service and our walk and our message, it reflects the purity of our community, the values, which is family, church, community, and peace. Yes, sir.
Why should you were convicted felon, right?
Yes.
Why should they trust you? Why should they trust you?
That's a great question, and
I want to give you a chance to answer that.
and you know, I prayed about it a lot of times, and I said, why should I go for this position? Why should I put myself out there? You know, I've done so much bad in my life, and the first thing that came to my mind was to go to the Bible, and I read about Moses, how he killed a man, and God blessed him. Noah was a drunkard, and God blessed him with the ark. There were so many great people in the history of the Bible who may have made mistakes, but God used them. Like Joseph, he was in prison, but God resurrected him out of prison and allowed him to be king. And so when you look into the Bible and you look at those stories and you pray to God every night and you say, please God, don't let me get my own way. And that's all you don't want to do. You just don't want to get in your own way, because you know that for us, for black people.
Explain that. Not get in your own way.
You don't want to get in your own way. You don't want to let your ego, you don't want to let your fear, you don't want to let negative thoughts from others deter you from what you know is the right thing. And for us as black people, our mistakes are slim. You make a mistake, that's 2, 3, 5 years out of your life.
Yeah, that's true.
Somebody else, oh, it's okay, I'll go ahead and
Pat on the back.
I'll pat on the back, here's $1 million, go ahead and help yourself, here's a crowdfunding, here's that. So I knew coming into this, running this race, that my mistakes was very slim based off of my past. And I knew they was gonna bring it up. So I told God, please keep my heart pure and let me run the cleanest, let me run the most honest race possible, but let me tell the truth. Because no matter what happens, I have the truth to stand on, Mr. Williams. And the truth will always set you free, no matter what.
Do you think that you would probably be, let's look at the kids that really need that role model. These are the ones that you're talking about will get sucked up in the system and end up in prison.
Yes.
Do you think because you've been there, been through that, and you can show them that you can get through it and get your life back together and do good things, is one of the reasons why you think you should be elected?
Well, I know. And it's not, it's the youth, and it's also their parents. There are a lot of parents who cannot get out the system. They go one time and they get out and they just cannot figure it out because they've been in there so long. They take care of you, they feed you, they do everything. And I tell everyone, you have 30 to 90 days once you get out to figure it out, or otherwise there's a chance you're going to end up going back or you're going to get killed.
Recidivism rate is very high.
The recidivism rate is high, mainly because a lot of the people that are going to prison, they're not educating themselves in there. They're not reading. They're not going to the library. They're not going to the law library. They're not going to church. They're not freeing their minds. Their bodies are trapped, but your mind is supposed to be free in there. And when you allow your mind to be trapped, when you're already trapped physically, there's no escape. There's no hope. So the key when you get in there is to always keep your mind open and free.
Okay.
Yes.
Very good. Very good. Okay, let's get back to the campaign.
Okay.
Tell our viewers in District 2 your priorities. Give us your 3 priorities. you're on the city council now.
Yes.
What are your priorities? What do you want to accomplish in that first 2 years of being on the city council?
My first 2 years, we actually have a 90-day plan, and if you don't mind me sharing it with you, that includes the first day, the next day, I'm going to be calling Art Hall so I can do a transition, do like a transition meeting with him so I can know what type of projects on the books, so I can talk to him and just get a glimpse of what he's already done. Another thing is that we're going to fill all boards and commissions. That includes the MLK boards, that includes all the boards that city boards, all those commissions. We want to get those filled because we want the people to know that people are ready to go and that the city is going in a different direction. Another thing is meeting with the neighborhood associations and getting these people on one accord. There's too many neighborhood associations that are divided. The community is divided. Part of the community wants to do one thing with their property. There are a few people who's trying to tell them that they can't. So property rights is one big thing. And one last thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to have a community conversation about the Freedom Bridge. And because I am really big on local heroes. And I study local heroes, Charles Bellinger, Percy Sutton, and Reverend Callies. And his story is phenomenal on how that bridge came about. And it's a shame that his name is not on that bridge. And I respect Martin Luther King Jr. I respect everything that he's done. But we also must respect the people who were here, who are not as big like that, but they did big things for us in the community. And his work, his tireless work, is the reason why we have the biggest march in America. And so that cannot be glossed over. That cannot be overlooked. And we just feel like that some of our heroes, our local heroes, have not been given their just due. Yes, sir. 2
years ago, the councilman wanted to change the direction of the march. Take it off Martin Luther King.
The 5 point, that was a horrible idea. But the 5 point is a horrible idea. Also, but on the other hand, I believe that changing the direction to go into the park, I think that's a great idea. Think about it. The bridge is called the Freedom Bridge. We're marching away from freedom. When we're marching, we need to be marching towards the bridge. So that's just my thought pattern on that. And then Mr. Otis Thompson, the one that he handles the botanical garden and he holds the sign. No matter what you think about him, I think he's a tremendous asset to our community because.
Why do you say that? What you think
because
about that?
for one, he's very intelligent.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I know Otis.
Yes, he's very intelligent. Two, he's relentless, and you need people like that in our community. Him, Nettie Hinton, to name a few. And I saw his master plan for the park. If people would actually take the time to read and listen to what he has to say, you will find out our ideas coincide together more than they are apart. And I don't discount anyone. I think Mr. Otis is a fantastic citizen. And people overlook his contribution to our community.
Because he's rather controversial, I guess that's why.
Life itself is controversial. Look at our president.
Well, I prefer not to.
Right, but compared to Mr. Otis, he says, don't buy gas on Thursdays from HEB. Become a member. MLK is supposed to be a world attraction. I don't think that's anything controversial about that. I think that's somebody who believes in what he believes, and he also believes in the people, and he feels like that, like you, people come into our community and think we're dumb, and so he's educating us, but his way may not be something.
Don't say like me. I don't think that way.
No.
Let's make that clear.
No. What I mean like you is just meaning like how you feel about a thing, not that particular thing.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Let me ask this question. We have a very valuable entity across the street, the Carver Cultural Library, and I could see with budget cuts and things coming forward, we got a great director over there in D.L. Grant.
Yes.
Would you protect that from budget cuts as best you could if you're on the city council?
Life and limb. As a matter of fact, we just did a forum, a community forum in April. In March. It was housing, gentrification, and generational wealth. I sat on the panel along with somebody from the Sabor and also a few, well, Jock Arch was supposed to have been there, and there was a couple of small-time developers. And we were speaking on property taxes, gentrification, and how it's affecting things over here on the east side.
Speaking of gentrification, what's your feeling about that? Do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing?
Depends on who you ask. The person who's making the profit or the person who's getting out taxed out their home. That's the question. I've heard from one of the candidates, gentrification is not a bad thing. I think it is in the terms of what's happening now in the community, as far as when you go down Hackberry and you see a $450,000 property and you wonder how did that get there, and then you look at the homes and you look at the area and you see prostitutes walking down the street. How did that property get that amount, and who's giving oversight to that?
Do you care to name the candidate that said gentrification is a good thing?
Keith Tony said that.
Keith Tony said gentrification is a good thing.
He said, I don't think gentrification is necessarily the bad thing. You know, if people want to do something, it sounded Motisa to me.
Okay.
It sounded real Motisa to me.
Okay, we're going to take a break here. When we come back, we want to get into another discussion about the campaign. Okay, you're tuned into Discussions with the Writer Fred. My guest here is Mr. Walter Perry, running for the City Council position, District 2, San Antonio, Texas, and he's heating up the race.
Marie, you have prediabetes.
Prediabetes? I don't have time to eat right or exercise. I'm a busy mom.
Oh, you're a busy mom.
Yeah.
This is great news. Busy moms never get prediabetes.
Wait, what?
Let me just... Yeah, this is all the people at risk for prediabetes, and way over here, busy moms. No?
40% of food in America is never eaten.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation.
America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
Do you want to retire like a champ? Just like legendary basketball star Uncle Drew?
Don't do him like that, Uncle Drew!
You're already acing the game. You've got your dream ride.
Don't be slamming my door.
Sorry about that.
You just did the same.
Gotta get the boys.
Your dream vacation and your dream team. And now you can make your retirement just as legendary.
I get buckets.
Get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Observe a domesticated human family in their natural habitat, known to their species as the backyard.
Hey, you think I should light it now?
I think it's good.
Yeah?
Oh dear, someone is about to burn a pile of debris that's too tall, which can start a wildfire. Wait, could it be? Blimey, it is.
It's Smokey.
It's Smokey Bear. What a legend.
Hey, it's Smokey. Sorry, it was too high. Right.
Watch as he astutely ensures that there's no wind, and how he removes some of the debris to create a smaller, safer burning pile.
No, you said make it bigger, baby. The bigger, the better.
Take note of our fearless furry friend here, humans.
I appreciate it. Fist bump.
Watching you.
Smokey's done it again.
Bye, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Nothing to do this week? Don't miss another event. Go to blacksinsanantonio.com for our event calendar. The home of the largest business directory in San Antonio with an African American focus. Sign up today for our weekly e-blast and text message alerts. Help us make this a better community. Connect, empower, grow.
Welcome back to Discussions with the Writer Fred. My guest here in the studio today is Mr. Walter Perry, who is a candidate for the District 2 City Council seat here in San Antonio, which is, I think, over the last 40 years has been traditionally a black, well, you'd say the black representative. However, that doesn't necessarily have to last. I heard one person say, well, that belongs to us. No, it doesn't belong to you. It belongs to whoever can win the race.
Exactly.
And that's,
exactly.
Yeah. But I think right now we have, the number of candidates are primarily black, right, that are running right now?
Yeah, I mean, black in skin. You know, we
there
you go. You know, we all got the same skin color.
But you said not black in mind, just black in skin.
Not black in mind. Look.
Because you're my color don't mean you're my brother.
Just because you're my color don't mean you're my brother. And people need to understand this. It's okay to love your people. And I believe that if other cultures don't see you loving your people, they're not going to respect you. People think that just, you know, you looking at somebody that's white and you're saying, oh, okay, I'm going to show you, I'm going to abuse my own people so I can get acceptance from you. That's not going to get you acceptance. That's going to get you laughed at. People love when they see you loving your own people first. That's just like me. How can I come to your house and take care of your house, but my house is in the wreck? Mm-hmm. If I'm over there beating on my wife and beating on my kids, and then I come out acting like, oh yeah, I wanna work with you. That's not real. Mm-hmm. And so that's what we got. We got people that look like us, but people that's not of us.
You use the term Motisa.
Motisa?
Define that to our viewers who may not know what that is.
It's a little. Motisa is like a term that slaves say to the slave master when they want Motisa. So you got a lot of Motisas running around our community, you know, basically selling out the community for small prices. And it's been evident throughout time has happened like that. And so we are here to make sure that these Motisas are not pouring tea just for massa, that they pouring tea for everybody. Everybody need a cup of tea around here.
Are you saying, you don't have to name any names, but are you saying that some of the candidates running for the city council are Motisas?
Yeah, they are Motisas. And so happy to be having coffee with the city manager. So always talking about how you having lunch with, you know, somebody big time and how you know this person, how this person pat you on your head 2 months ago. Oh, they patted me on my head. They know me. I have coffee with them. Tell them about me. Motisa? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Running around here.
Okay. How's the campaign going?
It's an experience. It's blessed, actually. Like I told you before, once you put your mindset on that you're going to do things right are going to fall in place. And so we...
Are you running to make a point, or are you running to win?
We're running to win, and we're running to make a difference.
If you're running to win, are you willing to do... When I taught government over UTSA, I would tell my students, political party exists for only one reason. That's to win. And if you have morals, values, and you're bringing that into the game, don't run. Become an interest group or something.
Okay.
So how do you view that?
Well, that would...
Are you willing to do what Mr. Walter Perry doesn't really believe is part of his value system in order to win?
I am not willing to sell my soul for a position out here at all. I know politics can be a dirty game. The streets are a dirty game, but you don't always have to live like that. But
you can't exist in the streets if you don't play the dirty game, can you?
That's not true.
Really?
You can exist in the streets without playing a dirty game. You can, but you have to be willing to get dirty to survive if you have to. But there are ways that, okay, let's look at the drug dealer and the hustler. A drug dealer only deals drugs, but if there's no drugs around, he's out of there. But a hustler, if there's no drugs, he's gonna find something else to hustle. The same with the politics. Okay, I don't have to play dirty. I'll beat you another way. The truth always beats you. 2, I'm a marketing major. So if you look on social media, I'm gonna beat you a lot of ways, and then two, I'm gonna bring out the vote. We got 10,000 votes that we're gonna bring to the polls at least, and you can count on that. And as long as I keep talking to these young people out here, they're gonna go to the polls, and so are their parents. So I'm not worried about these infiltrators and these Mottisas running around our community creating mischief, because at the end of the day, if I believe that playing dirty is the way to win, then that means that I don't have faith in God and I didn't have faith in my plan. We have total faith in our plan and our strategy to not only defeat these Mottisas, but to bring our community the prosperity and the hope that it truly deserves and break the generational curse. That's what we're up against.
Let's pursue this a little further. During our break, you mentioned a meeting that they had with you.
Oh, yes.
You want to tell our viewers what happened?
This meeting, and this all goes back to integrity in the race. And so sometimes when people try to play dirty, the truth always has a way to knock that out, knock out falsehood. There was a meeting that was called a couple of months ago by our state rep. The people that we believe that are helping us in the community are really causing mischief and really taking from the community. The state rep, her imp, and then it was Mr. Hillier, it was Mr. Aubrey, it was Mr. Tony, it was myself, it was Ramey, it was Jada.
These are the candidates, right?
The other candidates. So there was a meeting that was called to say we all need to...
And the state rep being?
Barbara Gervin Hawkins.
Okay.
And, you know, I'm giving you this because, one, I respect you and I respect your platform. So I've been wrestling with this for like the last couple of months on how I can deal with this. And then, like you say, you know, this is politics. They play dirty. So I guess this is me showing you that you don't got to play dirty, but I'm going to tell the truth. So they called the meeting. The first thing they said was, okay, who can raise $50,000 in here? They went around, nobody said nothing. They came to me, I said, I'm not telling you what I got. And they was, you know, they already frowned up on me. And so then it was, oh, well, we need y'all to drop out because somebody needs to back one candidate. So I sat there and I waited. And right before I went there, I said, well, if there's a stronger candidate than me, I'm willing to like get behind them. I said, but I don't see anybody stronger than me in here. So they said, well, we need you to get behind Mr. Hillier. And I immediately stood up and said, no, I'm not getting behind you. I said, man, you're a great guy. You know what I'm saying? I don't have anything personal against you, but man, you bring too much controversy with the fireman thing. No, man, I don't want the firemen controlling my community. So then the next person, they was like, Mr. Aubrey. I said, no, Mr. Aubrey, I saw you at the meeting. No, sir. And so he was like, well, hold on, Perry. I said, no. You can't be councilman with $450,000 homes in Denver Heights. No, sir, sit down. So Tony, I said, Tony, you told me to run. You kept telling me to run all summer. And I asked him, I said, you sure you're not gonna run? He said, I'm not gonna run. If you run, I'm gonna campaign for you. So, you know, he and a few of these guys was telling me to run during the summer. So when Cruz stepped down, I saw it as a sign of God to step up. So right then and there, when I didn't bow down to the pressure, they started saying, well, you need to think about your family. You know what I'm saying? You know, me from the streets, you tell me I need to think about my family. What are you talking about? You know, I took it as it was a threat. And then next thing I know.
Well, do you really believe it was a threat?
Well, at first when I slept on it, I said, I ain't gonna do nothing. But then all of a sudden the attacks came. I was getting calls from the city. They were saying, oh, well, Walter, you can't run. Somebody
from the city? Who in the city?
The city attorney called me and they was like, well, Walter, we got a phone call saying that you got a felony and pop, pop, pop. So I said.
No, this is a telephone call you got.
I got a telephone call from the city saying, somebody called us and said, you can't run because you got a felony from 1993. And I said, yeah, I was 17 years old. I'm 43 years old now. So I was on the phone with the attorney and the city attorney, 2 attorneys on the phone. They had me on speaker. You can't run because it says that. So I showed them the language at the end where it says release from other disabilities. So I said, what is that? What is release? And they couldn't define it. So I said, well, it got to be my parole or probation, and I'm not on that anymore. I said, I own a home, I pay taxes, I'm a voter, I'm a business major, and I'm a business owner. I'm the epitome of reparation. So why can't I run for office? So it was like a silence on the phone, and they said, you know what? Go ahead. So they let me interview. That was, and then they
wait. Let's keep this chronologically in order. Interview for what?
Interview for the
to fill the seat.
To fill the seat, and that was rigged. That's how Art Hall got in. That was rigged. I believe it was rigged because if you look at the speeches, go back. I want you to go back and look at everybody's speech. If you didn't know that I've been to prison before, and you heard all the speeches, everybody, white, black, Hispanic. Even Brockhouse, even a few of the council people came, Walter, man, woo, man, you did a great job, man. You're supposed to be there. You're supposed to be there. But I wasn't, because that little regime, that little Motisa regime, the ones that called us into that room and tried to squeeze us into getting out the race. And I asked them, I said,
you're talking about
Barbara and them. So me and Tyrone Darden, me and him are first cousins. We are.
Was he supporting you?
No, of course not. Because
are you saying he's part of that Motisa
he's part of that Motisa regime. So he was the strategist, because he sent me the text. He was like, there's a strategy meeting. And then Jada called me and said, come to this meeting. So when I went in, it was like names on there. And my name had X by it. And then when I came in, they erased the X and put a check by it, right? I don't know what that was. But he and I got into it because he said, well, I'm the strategist for this. I said,
strategist for what?
A strategist to like strategize us to get out the race. I said, no, man, you ain't no strategist. I said, man, you didn't even win. And then he said, well, Tony got 2,200 votes. I said, but Tony didn't even make the runoff, bro. I said, Tony, I call Tony old school, because that's how close we was a couple of years ago. We block walked together. So I said, School, why are you in the race, man? You told me to run. And he just had this look. I said, you got debt. That's what it is. And I said, you selling out. I said, because you told me to run. You told me to run. And so here I am running, and now it's something else. Now all of a sudden,
you're going on discussions with the writer Fred and making the accusation that Tony was selling out?
To me, if you tell somebody to run, right, and then you telling people, hey man, he's gonna run, then all of a sudden, and then on top of that, hold on, it was alleged by the same guy, Mr. Arbery, and Mr. Williams and Cruz Shaw.
What Williams?
Charles Williams, that he came and asked for a $15,000 bribe. The Express News, the June 2017, there was an article where Cruz Shaw came out and said that Tony asked him for $15,000 for his support during the runoff against Alan Warwick. Cruz told him no. Mr. Arby corroborated with him, along with Mr. Williams. They both said that he did that. And so now all of a sudden he's the candidate? He's the candidate?
So what happened? Let me just make a statement here now, because we're getting pretty
deep into it. Yes.
This is Walter Perry's opinion, not discussion with the writer Fred or Black Video News. Let me make that very clear to our viewers. Okay, go ahead. Finish what happened at this meeting, then we can wrap up.
The meeting was like this. They wanted us to drop out the race. Me and Tyrone Darden got into it. I hate that we got into it because we're family, and it just really hurt me that people saw me and him get into it. I was really hurt by that. But I was really hurt by the fact that they did not respect us enough to see us as real candidates. And basically, when Barbara said, "Cause you raise money," no, get out. Just basically just wrote you off. So then when they got to me, I was like, I got money already. I got money saved up. You know what I'm saying? I don't need money from nobody. So, it was the whole They are mad because I'm self-funded. Like the little donations we got are just online donations, $22 here. That we don't have no big donations from anybody. We went to them and asked them for support. They told us no. Even told me no in church. So when we got to this meeting, I'm thinking that they're going to say, okay, well, we see y'all young people in here. We're going to mentor y'all. We're going to show y'all how to be good public servants. It was like, no, y'all need to get out the race or else. And so now you see they got other mediums pushing one candidate, smashing one candidate. The Express News came out and then bashed me. It's no coincidence. I never did anything to them. So I believe that it's that regime.
Did they bash you on the felony?
Yes, they called me a convicted felon. They didn't even say my name. They said a convicted felon is running for office. And so I did a Facebook Live about how that was detrimental to a lot of the young black men out here who's trying to turn their lives around. And then all the information, you had me sitting there for 2 hours answering questions about city stuff and community stuff, and you took all my answers and condensed them down to just 2 words, convicted felon. And I went to Tony and them and said, man, can y'all speak out against this? Because they gave Jada the endorsement. I wasn't mad about that.
Who gave Jada the endorsement?
The Express News gave Jada an endorsement.
Did they?
Yes, they did. So it's like a divide and conquer in our community, and Express News got in on it. Now it's like so many people are getting in on this divide and conquer, but yet we're not really seeing the problem is that what affects one affects all of us. Mm-hmm. And so I'm gonna say this in a weekend. I love these people. I still love Keith Tony. You know what I'm saying? I believe that I don't know what's going on, but I know it's something that's not good for the community right now, and I believe it has a lot to do with the tears, and I think it has a lot to do with that big project with the Echo East thing going on. I'm not against them, but when you guys don't want to give up the mantle to the younger generation, don't even want to show us, same with the crack generation. A lot of our fathers, they was out here making money, didn't teach us about banking, didn't teach us about saving money. They just had our mamas on drugs and just had us strung out on drugs. And then here we are right now, you have somebody, a young brother out here who's been working in the community for the last 10 years and went to these people and asked them for help. But yet they're going out saying, oh, he's an ex-felon, he's temperamental, don't trust him. But yet I've went to these people, I've block walked with Keith Tony in the hot sun. Mm-hmm. When he was in the runoff, I block walked with him with a full suit on, and Barbara Hawkins, I block walked for her, and all these people out here. And so, for somebody young and everybody in my community to be watching this, and to see that our older generation is not giving us a hand up, they're looking at us and thinking that we want handouts, it's hurtful to us. And so I just want to say to everybody, I don't personally feel nothing. I love these people in the community. I love everybody, and I'm going to put my life on the line for them.
Okay. Well, let me say, in defense of the older generation, which I am a part of that, I opened up this show to let you express your opinions.
And I apologize for not giving you your due, Mr. Williams.
Oh, I don't need that.
Yeah,
okay.
but okay. I just want to say thank you to you. And thank you to Black Video News. Yes. And Black Video News for not being afraid to tackle tough issues, but also keep things intellectual and keep things honest. Focused on the issues and honest. Yes. And so thank you so much, Mr. Williams.
And so if you're elected, we will expect you to do what you can to help the growth of Black Video News and Invista Products. Because this brother over here does a lot for this community and does not get the credit and the support he often needs.
Yes, sir.
So with that said, I do have to say to you all out there that Mr. Perry named, if you want to rebut, you can contact Black Video News, a Vista product. It will bring you on the air, and that's just fair. I think you would agree.
I think it is.
Okay.
I think we should kind of have a panel with these people, and then let us all discuss.
We'll see if we can arrange that for sure.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you for tuning in to Discussions with the Writer Fred. And remember, we're telling our story our way all the time.